Hey YouTube, what's up? This is your girl Sherelle, and if you are tuning in for the very first time, be sure to subscribe to my channel, share my video on your social media sites, and like and comment down below. And like I told you guys before, I will be coming back with more reviews. So tonight's review, let's get into it. You see the title, Greenleaf, the first day. I had to review this and it came back with a bang. So let's get into it. So we open up with Bishop and Grace at the church. And they're looking at the church for one last time, and then they come outside basically and they see, you know, all the stuff in the church being thrown out into the dumpsters and taking it on the moving trucks. And, they see where Bishop pictures and the cross is being dragged into the moving truck. And it kind of made Bishop, sad. And Grace was basically asking him, don't this depress you seeing this? And he was like, well, sometimes you gotta watch how things fall apart, something to that degree. You have to see when things fall apart, something like that. But it was very hurtful seeing them throw that stuff away like that and just carry that cross. And basically, they took a look at the church for the very last time, an empty church, and they basically watched them empty out the church until they couldn't take it no more. So let's move to next. So next scene. So we are at the Greenleaf property with Lady May. And Lady May is in there going crazy because she's just looking like, look, she's in there with the maid, and she's basically telling her, Lady May, please let me fix you something to eat. You need to, because this lemon and water ain't gonna get it. You're depressing me and I'm not seeing you eat. And she's like, well, Jesus didn't eat. He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, and look where it got him. He saved the whole human race. So I'm not gonna move until the Lord tells me so. And until I get a sign from the Lord to do what's next. So Charity comes in and she said, well, look at the Benedict Arnold coming up in here. And Charity ain't saying nothing. Lady May, you being petty. You being petty with your own daughter. And you see Charity leaving out. And then Aaron, Grace's brother, Aaron coming in. And she says to Aaron, can I keep a secret with you? I don't even want that church anymore. And Aaron's looking at her like, Lady May, I think this fasting is getting to you. Because you're talking crazy. Now, I know better than that. Now, while she's talking crazy to Aaron, who would come in? The Bishop and Grace. And Bishop, apparently, he's mad with Lady May. As he should be a little bit, but that's the Bishop. He'll get over it. Him and Lady May, they have their own little relationship. Their own thing going on. So, Aaron is there basically to talk to Grace about AJ's, case or whatever. So, Bishop goes upstairs. He's mad. He ain't speak to Lady May. And Lady May is like, he's not speaking to me. He's mad with me. Something, to that degree. Like, he's mad with me. I ain't even trying to fool with him right now. I'm going to just let him be. Now, let's move to the next scene where it's Aaron and Grace. And Aaron's basically telling her, look, we got a good case here because it seems like they found the boy who was doing all the robbery. Now, remember that boy at the end of the scene of last season who came out? I don't know if he came out like a guardian angel or a demon in disguise, but I'm going to call him, I'm going to go on my good faith, and I'm going to say he was an angel in disguise. Okay? And Grace just looks at, Aaron's giving her all the information on AJ's case and basically saying, look, they found someone else. They caught the guy red-handed who was initially doing all the robbing pharmacies. So AJ is good to go. And she's like, okay, so they caught a guy. But not only does she know the guy, she's seen the guy. Like, she seen him and she was talking to him, and now Grace is all up in arms. She's just looking like, oh my God, I see this guy. Like, he was on the freaking property not too long ago, and now he's dead from a shootout from some pharmacy he robbed. AJ, maybe that's God giving you an open window to start over freshly or to do what's right, confess. Either God wants you to confess to your sin or God wants to give you a new start. Sometimes God will do that. He'll give you a new start, or he'll test you and see if you're going to do the right thing. So let's skirt past that, y'all. So let's get into Jacob and Clarissa. Well, Clarissa, I don't know if you notice that Jake is very much so over you, as we can see from the beginning. So Jake is heated with her. He's being very short with her. Okay? And he's basically like, so where you get this this deed or whatever, this will. Where'd you get this will? Did you get this from your hot Latin lover that gave you chlamydia? And I was like, oh. He's mad. He's mad. And I'm just looking at him like, I know we should all be mad at Jacob for all the cheating that he was doing against Clarissa, but Clarissa has a spirit about her that's unclean. Like, her and the chlamydia Latin lover, they truly need to be together because they have that wicked force evilness that they need to be together. And Jacob needs to go with Tasha Skanks or whatever her name is, or whoever. She seems more like his speed to me. And honestly, Clarissa is on another, like, you can't expect to be in a man's good grace if you're trying to take him down. Like, Clarissa, I don't see it for her and Jacob. Like, it got to be something that within this season that changed, but girl, you done made him mad because you was lying, and then on top of that, you gave him something. So he's mad. He ain't So let's skirt past that. So let's move to the next scene with Miss Sophie and the ball player. She's running, going for her daily jog, and she calls him, and she's basically like, hey, baby, we gonna meet up tonight or meet up later. He's like, well, yeah, and she's basically telling him, well, your ex is still at the house with my cousin. And he's like, well, yeah, I'm going to talk to her and I'm going to fix that. She was like, well, yeah, you need to definitely fix that situation because, she's being a pure you-know-what to me. So let's skirt past that. So we see Charity and Phil at the church. So apparently Phil was able to have some pull and get Charity the assistant pastor position. And she is letting Phil have it. Letting him know, my family is not speaking to me because of you, because of dealings with you. My love life is in shambles, and I hate you. Bottom line. And she said, you threw me out like a piece of ish. Like I wasn't nothing, which he did. And I was looking at her like, oh, you cursing in the church now? Like, that's what we doing? That's not very Christian-like to be cussing up in the church. So, she's basically like, he's like, look, we got a meeting. We need to pull it together and be a united front. And she's like, well, I can do that. No, you can't. Because what happens when she get into that meeting, the board meeting? She embarrasses herself. Well, we going to get to that. Oh, yeah, we going to get to that. So, let's see what we need to talk about. So, AJ and Grace and Aaron sit down with AJ and basically tell him, look, they caught the guy and you're safe. You're not going to jail. You don't have to worry. They caught the guy who did it and he's dead. Basically telling him, there it goes again. You can either confess or you can take this out as a new way to start over and do the right thing. So, it's kind of messing with AJ a little bit because he knows in heart of hearts, he basically did that. He basically robbed the pharmacy. And now they're trying to pin it on another guy. And Grace is just like, this is, you're out. Like, you're free. You can be free from all of this. And he just doesn't believe it because AJ is at a point in his life where he doesn't know how to face his fears, if that makes sense to anybody. He's fighting with believing and having faith. Not believing and having faith. Like, like this is too good to be true. Something's bad is going to go happen, which a lot of people, we all do that. Like we all question things and we all try to fathom what God is trying to do, but you can't fathom what God is trying to do. No way, no shape or form. One thing's for certain, two things for sure, sweetheart. You have to always just go with the flow when God is entangled in certain things. And no one can fathom what he is trying to do. And it speaks that all in the Bible. No one can fathom what the Lord is trying to do. The only thing that you can do is trust and have faith and hope that he will see you through. But I digress. I'm not going to preach about it. So we move to Aaron and Jacob. Aaron pulls Jacob pulls Aaron to the side and asks him questions about this will because he wants to know whether Clarissa really has something on him. Like, and Aaron's basically like, whoever's trying to basically blackmail you with this will, it would be best to get on good terms with them. He said, but I'm going to pray for you. And Jacob was like, yeah, I'm going to need all the prayer I can get because I don't particularly care for working things out with Clarissa or anything, so I can use all your prayers. So he's basically trying to find out. He's on a hunt now. Clarissa, you better watch it. He's on a hunt because he's trying to find out what's in this will. Is this will truly true that Lady May and Bishop had the lady killed from this house? And not only Mac is the executive on the will, so it's shady either way it goes. So he's questioning and he's doing his research. Jacob, you was about to tell Mr. Doorknob. You really are. That's why Clarissa runs circles around you all the time. A smart person would have just went in there and told their mama and their daddy. And let their mama and their daddy handle Clarissa. Okay? Like, Lady May smacking her wasn't good enough. So you might need Lady May to come out of that fasting for 40 days and 40 nights and smack you again. And you going to feel her power. Because she's sitting there drinking water and hot water. Woo! Oh, gosh. Praise God. We're going to pray for Lady May. But let's move on to the next scene. So, what's next? We have Grace, and we have not only but Rick Fox, aka Silver Fox. A Silver Fox is an older, good-looking man, okay? I mean, He got the salt and pepper with the brown skin going on, and he just looks sexy. We ain't gonna call him Rick Fox no more. We gonna call him Silver Fox, cause he's a fox. Like, he looks good. I mean, hashtag goes. I want to know how old Rick Fox is, cause he is just one handsome son of a you know what. Yeah, he's basically looking at Grace. So Grace comes to see him because she needs his help on, finding out information about Bill and Phil and Bob Hope, whatever his name. The one that took over the church and wants to knock it down. I think it's Bob Hope. Hope and Harmony. So she wants to find out information, and he's basically like, "What are you doing here, Grace?" She was like, "I figured if I called, you wouldn't answer." He was like, "Well, you're right, because all that time you didn't call, she was like, I probably wouldn't have, because it was hard for me to get over you." She was like, "If you know everything that I've been through, like, you wouldn't be making jokes." So they hit it off. Sometimes when you see that one old thing that you just had to get over, and you see them all again, and Grace, go on and get back with the Silver Fox. Go on now. Go on now. He looking too good for you not to, or you just go on now. Go on now with the Silver Fox. Yes, we gonna call Rick Fox Silver Fox, but his name on the show is Darius. But we're going to call him Silver Fox. He's one piece of leather, sure as hell, put together. Call me Silver Fox. No. I'm just playing. So, what's next? You got Charity and Phil going ham at the board meeting, and everybody looking at Charity because she's saying, I'm going to preach a sermon on a sermon about the black women of the church, how they're forgotten or they're abused and all this other stuff. And Phil and everybody else looking at Charity like she crazy, like, "Girl, we don't want to hear nothing you got to preach about. We already know that you is about as dumb as a doorknob. The only good thing you got going for you is your voice, and you need to stick to that. And you should have stick to that. We know that you got this position is because Phil is sweet on you, and that's about it." So with that being said, we ain't trying to feel you Charity, okay? Everybody just looking at her like she crazy and looking at Phil like she crazy. And she's basically letting Phil know, look, when Snowflake gets here, his fiance to be, she can make all the sermons she want about white women. But until now, it's going to be about black women. And I dare you to say something to me about it. That's what it's going to be. That's how it's going to go. So everybody walk out of the board meeting looking like, this is a mess. This is a fool. So a couple of the members of the church, the one that sold them out, the one lady deacon, I forget her name, but see, y'all was all following behind her. Yeah. And y'all see what they're trying to do to Greenleaf, tearing it down. It's a week before they tear it down. So we get back to Jacob, him finishing his conversation with Aaron. And next thing you know, Jacob makes a call to the girl, Alexis, who in first season, he was cheating on Clarissa with. And her name is Alexis, like one of my best friends, Alexis. Why her name gotta be Alexis? Okay. So let's skirt past that. We go to Charity and the choir director, who is, I forget his name, but he's the choir director at Greenleaf, and he's also Charity's best friend. And he's basically like, "Can I have a moment with you without all the praise and all the worship and all the attitude and all the craziness? I didn't sign up to be singing in no gymnasium, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my behind onto another church home. And then Charity is like, I don't need no good news. And oh my God, you giving me bad news. I don't need no bad news. And you're giving me bad news. And I can't take this. And now you're leaving me. And he's like, calm down. We still going to see each other and meet up with each other and link up with each other and have a good kiki and still be friends. And he basically reminds her, Charity, this is basically what you wanted. You wanted to be assistant pastor at here at Hope and Harmony, and you got what you wanted. And she's just like, now that I got it, I really don't want it. Let's move past that. So we go to Alexis and Jacob meeting up. Dun 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 dun. So she opens the door, and we see this little half mixed girl, pretty little mixed girl, and Jacob just coming there looking like, what in the world is going on here? So he's there to get information from her about Mac. Like, do you know where he could have had personal information? And he's just, the whole time he's there, he's looking in awe and stuck at the same time because he's thinking to himself, this could be what? This little mixed girl here could be my daggone daughter. And she's just like, I don't understand why you think it was okay for you to come here. For you to come here. After you had me kicked out of a church, lose my job, and on top of that, a previous church I'm going to, you got me kicked out of that one too. What are you doing here? After he was like, look, I didn't want for none of that to go down the way it did. But Alexis, you was messing with a married man, and that married man was the father. His father was the bishop of the church, and Clarissa went crying to the bishop, who she know would have handled the situation properly, and that's why you got fired. Clarissa cried to the bishop, and the bishop, being the bishop, trying to fix things, felt as though getting rid of you would fix it between Jacob and Clarissa. So she gives him information about it, and she's like, and he asks, is this my daughter? She was like, no, it's not your daughter, and I wouldn't keep it if it was. Something tells me that she might be lying. Something tells me that could possibly be Jacob's baby. I think she's lying. I truly think that the girl is lying. I think she's not telling the truth because she's afraid of how it may look. She already lost her job, already got kicked out of the church. She was Mac's assistant, and they looking at her like, you're scandalous because you're Mac's assistant. So she's afraid of how it may look if she was to come out and say, yes, this is your baby. All the headaches she would go through. But he about to divorce Clarissa. So if it is his kid, you might as well go and tell him. So anywho. So let's skirt past that. We move to AJ and Grace. They're back at the Greenleaf mansion, and Grace is talking to him like, look, you are free. You don't have to worry about nothing. And he's telling Grace, look, we both know I did it. We both know I robbed the pharmacy. And this guy is going to go down for something I did. And AJ, on one hand, is afraid of going back to jail. Number two, he's feeling bad. Like I said, you either going to do what's right, or you're going to look at this as an outing that God is giving you, a way out to change your life for the better. AJ is struggling with his faith. Something that a lot of people do, struggle with faith, but he's struggling like he got one demon on his shoulder and he got one angel on his shoulder, but he's mainly listening to the demon instead of listening to the angel on his shoulder. But he's basically telling Grace was like, no, you are free. Look at it. Grace is trying to help him face his fear, trying to point out all the factors, like trying to give him the positive notes. Like, look, to me, in my honest opinion, this is God giving you a way out to start over, be free, and, free from everything that's going on. She's like, look, I know I don't always say the right things, but can you just trust and believe for a second that this is right and that you are free? And I want me and you and Sophie to go out for dinner and celebrate and be a family for the first time. And he gives her a smile, but, and she leaves and he agrees to go to dinner or whatever. And he's feeling bad because he's feel like, I committed a crime, but somebody else is dead because of it. He's scared. So it looks like he's packing his bags to leave because he's trying to run away from his problems. He figured if I go, everything will be much better. Which some people think that a lot of times. If I leave the situation, it'll get better. But it doesn't. Sometimes you're going to have to tell yourself the truth and basically be real with yourself. Face your problems and your issues head on. Because if you don't, they're going to continue to grow and grow and grow. It's like a weed in your garden, the problem. If you don't pull those weeds up out of the garden, the weeds are going to keep on going. Either you're going to use some weed be gone or you're going to get on your hands and your knees like Iyanla and pull the problems up, the roots of the problems up by your hands and throw them away. See, you can't spray weed be gone on a problem because it's not going to go away. You got to pull them up by the roots. And that's what AJ doesn't realize. But I digress. I'm not trying to preach to y'all. I'm not Bishop or Bishop Greenleaf or Bishop T.D. Jakes. I'm just Sherelle. So let's move on to Bishop. Dun, dun, dun. So the members that were at the board meeting with Phil and Charity are now at Bishop house, basically saying, look, Bishop, we didn't know that we were going to be in a gymnasium having church. Why would Grace tell us to do something? He was like, look, Grace was just trying to play the game, saying face, and to buy me and Lady May time to win the church back. And they was like, look, we need to figure out a way to win our church back. See, for some of you church members, you go into another church thinking that the grass is greener on the other side, and it's not. You still got problems. You're worse off than when you ever was before. Instead of y'all forgiving Lady May and the bishop and allowing them to get right themselves with God and praying for them and uplifting them, that's what you should do sometimes with your first lady and your pastor. Pray for them. Pray for them that God works on their spirit. Sometimes you got to sit back. The best thing and the worst thing you could ever do for somebody is pray for them. And I believe throughout this whole process with Lady May and the bishop, God is teaching them something. In order for you to lead any flock, you have to have all of this taken care of. What the church Greenleaf was built on in the beginning was built on all the wrong things. The church wasn't built on a solid foundation because the church had too many secrets, too much underhand stuff going on. So it couldn't stand strong. But Lady May and the bishop is still anointed in some sort of way, and God feels as though that I can use you, but I'm going to use you in the way that I want to use you. And the way I want to use you ain't going to be the way you want to use you. Okay? So I'm going to take all this away from you, and you're going to start over, and you're going to humble yourselves. That's what I got from each season. God is taking things away from Lady May and the bishop so they can humble themselves. And not only humble themselves, get right with me, God, so they can lead the sheep, because they both have anointing gifts. Not only just preaching, they know how to lead the sheep. So Bishop prays with them. And Bishop is basically like, you know what? Let's pray about this. And that lets me know that he's getting the picture. He understands that God is taking that church away from him so he can build up another church, but build it up on the right thing. So now it's all coming to him, and now he's praying. He's connecting with God. Because sometimes you could be a pastor in the church, but you lose your connection. If you a Christian, a first lady, the deacon, the usher, the choir director, you get so caught up in everything else that you forget to maintain your relationship with God. And now you wondering how things went wrong. And that's what I really feel and think about Lady May. They took their focus off of God. And they allowed their focus to go other places. And see, that's how the devil comes in. You know? The devil comes in with his tricky ways, and he's just doing all types of stuff. We seen all the stuff that Bishop and Lady May was trying to do to get that church back. But God said, you're going to come back to me, and you're going to come back to me right. And Lady May, look what she's doing. She's fasting. Bishop, he's praying. He's trying to build everything all on the right things that it wasn't before. Mac is gone. All the family secrets are out there. Lady May, on last season, vented to the ladies at the church, and they was able to see Lady May. You see what I'm saying? So, family secrets are no longer there. It's time for healing. Charity is starting to see the error of her ways. You see what I'm saying? Jacob is starting to see the error of his ways. Hopefully Clarissa will see the error of her ways, because she done lost her everlasting mind. But I digress. We're going to move past that. So he's the bishop, prays with the board members, and we leave it at that. Then we go to Jacob at the storage, basically looking for things. And, it cuts off, and let's move past that. Now we go to Darius calling Grace, says, look, I got some information for you. You need to come down here. Darius is Silver Fox, a.k.a. Rick Fox, who is, still sweet on Grace, as we all can see. So, yeah, he's basically letting her know that you need to get down here. I found some information out, and, I need to talk to you about. Okay. Now, let's move past that. We got Sophia and the ball players. Sophie shows up, a skirt, looking good with her little mini skirt on. I was like, oh, Sophie, I ain't never seen you look like this. You got your little tube, you got your little top on. I was like, oh, you was really trying to make him, giving him something he could feel. Like, you came over there dressed. Oh, Sophie. So Sophie gets there, and she sees his ex-girlfriend in there. She's like, what is she doing in here? He's like, well, you told me to fix it. She's like, are you guys getting back together? And he is like, no, I'm fixing it. She was like, she's hurt. Her feelings is hurt. Her feelings is truly, truly hurt. And I felt hurt for her. But she handled herself with grace and poise. She said, you know what? Sometimes it takes time for breakups. And she said, you know what? I'm hurt. She said, he was like, well, can I call you after she leaves? She said, no. No, you cannot. Don't call me. Don't ever call me. And we see Sophie get her heart broken by the ball player. Sophie, you too good for him anyway. Let him stick with the one that he went. Sometimes you could be just too good for a guy or just too good for a woman. So let him be with the girl he with. But I don't know. He was like, we're just going to figure it out. So we see Sophie get her heart broken. I felt bad for her. I feel bad for anybody, who, and he's basically like, Sophie, please let me talk to you. I don't know. I feel like he might be on a hunt to chase Sophie, or this might really be it for the two of them. I don't know. Either way. Either way. So let's talk about Lady Mae and the bishop. The bishop and Lady Mae meets up and they're talking, and the bishop was like, look, I had a conversation with some of the board members from the old church. And he said, Lady Mae, God is working on me and he's working on you. And I seen he was working on you from the day you had the whole Lady Mae event, you preaching. And he's just basically saying, look, let's forget about the old church. God is coming in. Let's build a new church together on the right things. God is coming in. God is working. And he's basically saying, we both still have something to offer the sheep. We still have sheep out there who need to be taken care of. Let's restart and rebuild a whole new church. But first, before we do that, we're going to get married. And we're going to build this church on all the right things. Come on, Bishop Greenleaf. We see God's working on you. But anywho, so she's like, okay, well, let's go get married and, let's start our new church over and this, that, and the fourth. And, so we leave it at that. They're getting married. The bishop and Lady Mae is getting married. Ooh, he's like, we're going down to City Hall to get married. We ain't doing all this whole big wedding, which I don't blame you. Because if I ever get married again, we either going to City Hall or we going away on a vacation where it costs no money. Me, him, and my kid. That's it. Because I don't need a big fancy wedding. To me, the celebration is in when you guys been married for 10 plus years or more. That's the celebration. It's a celebration that you two unions are joining together, but it's an even bigger celebration to me when a union has been together 10 plus. 10 plus in a new millennium like this, the 21st century. Oh my God, that's a miracle to still be married that long. God is with you if you're still married in the 21st century for 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Yeah. So Lady Mae and the bishop are going to be getting married. So we move on to Charity and Phil. Charity goes over to Phil's house, and when we see that Phil got pictures up all over a Charity because he really does love Charity, but he loves the lamplight of preaching in the church instead of loving God first. I call Phil the handsome demon. He's just too good looking, too suave, and too magical. To me, he's just too good to be true, as he comes off as a demon. My pastor in Jersey City, Pastor Rich, used to say, when you see a good-looking man or you see a good-looking woman, you're supposed to say, devil, and just keep on moving, keep on running the other way. Cherry, that's what you should have did for the handsome chocolate demon that you're with. Yeah, that he's like the chocolate cake that you need not to be eaten, okay? because you know it's going to make you gain weight. You know you're not supposed to be having all that chocolate. Charity, better leave that handsome demon alone. He too good looking. He's a demon. And you know what? Phil wouldn't be so bad if he wasn't so stuck on trying to have the spotlight. You lost just the same way the bishop lost his way, his connection with God. Phil, your heart is not in the right place to pastor, because you're pastoring only because you want to be in the limelight. You're not doing it because you want to really do it for God, because if you were, you wouldn't have to wait on a Bob Hope to have your own church. You'll do what Lady May and the bishop is doing and any other person is doing. When you truly want to do something for the Lord, can nothing or no one take nothing from you, okay? Because God is given to you. You allowed yourself to be at the mercy of someone else. And see, that's the devil, because God wants you to focus on him and not on man. So you got to understand, like, that all that covetousness and everything else that you're doing, Phil, ain't gonna work. Yep. You're going to fall short this season. It's going to blow up in your face because you're not doing it with a pure heart. You want to pastor. And you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. So when you're doing stuff for the wrong reasons, it's always going to blow up in your face. Bottom line. So he basically told Charity, he's like, look, I didn't want to do this. I love you. He was like, but Bob told me to marry his daughter if I wanted to be pastor of Hope and Harmony. And she said, basically, you chose that over me. And she was like, well, I'm here to give you your ring. You know what? Some cases, some people will be like, no, you're supposed to keep the ring. No, give it back. Give it back. Give it back. You don't need it. No. I don't need it. Give it back. Because every time you look at that ring, it's going to remind you of him. Unless you feel like you're going to pawn it. Like, you pawn it for whatever you could pawn it for. Sell it for whatever you can sell it for. And then use that and invest that money or save that money. Or go shopping and buy you some better jewelry. I don't know. But, yeah, he's basically like, I loved you and this, that, and the fourth. And, Phil is making me marry his daughter because he feels that this would be great and so forth and on. Well, let's move past that and let's go to Darius, a.k.a. Silver Fox, and Grace. So he's basically telling Grace, hey, I done found some stuff out about Bob. He done bought a house. And on top of that, the reason why he wants to have this church is because he's running for Senate. And he wants to have something, a Republican Senate at that. He wants to have something up under his sleeve saying that he is for the black church. Okay? So, he's not doing this on the right things. And he needs to be exposed. So Grace was like, well, we got the church closing in a week. So how we going to make all this happening? Silver Fox said, baby, have faith. Baby, have faith. Have faith. So, let's move past that. So we find out, the bishop is calling everybody, texting everybody. Everybody is meeting up the house. Sophie is meeting up at the house. Grace is meeting up at the house. Charity is meeting up the house. Jacob and Clarissa, they all meeting up. And Bishop's is like, me and your mama is getting married. You guys coming down to the courthouse. I want everybody to be there. And that's just that. We going to do this right. We decided we going to start a new church. And we going to do all of this on the right foot. We going to start this off. And Bishop is a good patriarch. He just lost his way a little bit. Lady May is a good matriarch, but she lost her way a little bit. And we can see that they hold a strong sense of power over their family, where when they say something, everyone in their family listens. They take heed. It's like, stop. Which you need those strong patriarchs in the family where people listen to, and they're like, no, this is how it goes. This is how we're going to do this. Kind of reminds me of my dad a lot. Yeah, kind of reminds me of my mother is not like Lady Mae, but my dad had a strong sensibility about him. You know, he was an alpha male, and yeah, my mom is a lady, but anywho, but yeah. So they're letting them know we're all going down to City Hall to get married, and you guys are coming, and we're going to have to eat. So Grace is looking for AJ. And she's like, Sophie, where's your brother? You know, let him know that we're all going to see, you know, Grandma and Grandpa get married. The bishop and Lady Mae get married. And she was like, I checked and he wasn't in his room. So Grace is basically like, okay, no, I'm going to go check on him. So she goes in his room and she hears the water running in the bathroom. So she's knocking on the door saying, AJ, she knows something. She's alert. Mother instinct. She hears the water running. She breaks the door down. Sees AJ laying out on the floor with his wrist slit. He done killed himself. I don't know if he killed himself for sure, but we will know next episode. But that's my review for Greenleaf, the first day. Greenleaf came back with a bang. I will be back on Thursday with Tyler Perry, The Oval. But Greenleaf, I am happy that it's back. I can't wait for the season as it progresses. And that's my review for Greenleaf. I just feel real bad for AJ because to me, in my honest opinion, he was someone who struggled with his faith. And I just, yeah, everybody struggles with their faith. So that's my review for Greenleaf, the first day. And I'll see you guys next time, Shugs.